Nigga, why you tripping, get your Mariah? Tryna look good in the moonlight. All these pussy niggas so bad, mine. Spotlight, moonlight. Nigga, why you tripping, get your Mariah? Tryna look good in the moonlight. All these pussy niggas so bad, mine.
Feel like I'm destined. I don't need no special rest, no. Who are you testing? Focus, can't here's your lesson, no. Nothing in testing. Take a shelter of your breath, you know. Feel like I'm damaged. You fucking playing.
In the last part, we actually talked about how issei actually defeated Kokubille and how actually he's now facing off against actually the Chaos Brigade. Now, time has actually stopped, and the only people who are able to move are the faction leaders and the people who have holy swords and actually sacred gears. Now, in this time, Riz did not touch issei's sacred gear, so she's basically still frozen in time. The mage would soon come out of a magic circle and start actually attacking actually the devils, fallen angels, and the angels who were frozen in time. This is where Azazel did say that if they continue like this or they don't do anything, they soon will actually be frozen in time and pretty much actually they'll be wiped out the map, off the map of course. This is where actually Issei and actually Verlaine would actually offer to take care of actually the mages outside, while actually Kiba or Zenobia or Irina would take care of the mages downstairs, or probably actually Kiba can actually take care or even rescue actually Gasper. So yeah, they already have a plan. So with this, Issei and Verlaine would actually go outside and start to fight. But Shin and Kiyomi will also offer actually to fight. So with this, they will actually go ahead and actually attack actually the mages that was actually shooting at them. Now, seeing actually that of a dragon and that of a nine-tailed fox, this truly actually surprised actually the faction leaders that they were just calmly just talking to actually Issei like they were old friends, of course. But heck, it seems like they were actually willing to help them, so help themselves. So the fight would actually kind of go quite easy with Issei and Verlaine and actually Shin and Kiyomi. They would easily take care of the mages that was actually outside. This is what actually did would lead actually Azazel to face off against Katrin, and everything will go similar in the anime. Not really much would change, it's just that actually Katrin revealed actually her true powers, and basically she would still end up actually losing, of course, but Azazel would end up killing her. Of course, the battle would actually end and time would soon actually resume, and pretty much actually this will only leave Issei and Verlaine to actually face down with each other. The two of them will look at each other's eyes as pretty much actually Verlaine wanted to fight Issei right here and now. Seeing actually his strength, of course, was quite unknown. She didn't even know what kind of form Issei was taking. Normally actually she would fight in her armored state, but Issei was completely different. He had a red aura surrounding him, and Issei did say that this symbolized his balance breaker that he's already in. So with this, Verlaine was actually just nod her head, and with this she will actually motion actually herself to actually go and attack Issei. Issei will look at her movements and pretty much he will counter actually one of her strikes that was going to land on his stomach. Issei will flip her over his shoulders and pretty much she will land on the ground. Soon she will fly back up and the two of them will start exchanging blows after blows, of course. Nobody can really see the fight beside for the faction leaders and Shin and Kiyomi, of course, as actually their move was actually quite unpredicted, of course. The fight would actually last for about a few hours, and actually they seemed quite equal at first, but actually Verlaine started to get the upper hand by using Divine Dividing. Issei would actually fall to the ground, and pretty much actually he was trying to regain his strength. But of course, Verlaine would not have that. She would soon attack Issei from the ground, but Issei would fly away just in time as she made a massive crater where Issei was standing before. Once Issei actually flew up, he immediately started actually gathering actually fire energy in his left hand and actually lightning energy in his right hand. And with this, he would combine the two together, and with this he would shout out Fire Thunder Strike. He would shoot the attack right at Verlaine, and Verlaine would actually try to actually divide it here. But something actually just happened. The attack would actually multiply into not just one, but two, but also four actually attacks at the same time. This is where actually she would actually try to actually fly away, but pretty much actually she failed to notice that Issei launched another attack right at her back. This would trap her in a barrier where she could not move, and once actually the four attacks finally hit the barrier, she would immediately get attacked inside the barrier, as she would feel immense pain. This is where she will actually fall down to the ground, and pretty much she will actually start to regain actually some of her strength. Issei was actually standing on top of the school building, and he was looking down on actually Verlaine if that's all she actually got. Verlaine was actually quite triggered, but also she envied actually Issei's strength, of course. That this is actually just actually the start of her true actually power. This is where she would get up and start to chant, and there she would enter her Juggernaut drive. Issei realized this and he completely knows that this is actually not good. She entering her Juggernaut drive is a major actually threat to him, because actually Issei is not actually prepared to take on someone like her who's already casually inside her Juggernaut drive state, which Issei has not even mastered his own. So with this, immediately she will appear right in front of Issei, and Issei will evade at the last second, and she would take up a huge chunk of actually the school building. This is where actually the two of them will actually play a game of cat and mouse, where Issei will run away from actually Verlaine, and Verlaine was chasing Issei. She will shoot lightning actually beams right out from her mouth to try to hit Issei, but Issei kept on evading mostly all of them here. Issei actually seeing that actually he completely actually is getting overwhelmed by her, he will immediately actually go ahead and fly up into actually the air, and pretty much actually he will put his right hand up. This is where outside of actually the school barrier, a red lightning starts to actually form around actually the whole entire actually like academy. As this is where actually the lightning will actually grow bigger and bigger and bigger, immediately going ahead and striking Issei down to his very core, all the way down to the ground. Once actually the smoke actually cleared up, we will see Issei in a completely different state. His body was covered in lightning and his eyes was that of fire. And pretty much Issei had actually red lightning horns coming actually from his actually forehead, and actually that of actually fire actually wings. This is Issei's true full boosted power right here. Issei would immediately go ahead and actually blitz Verlaine, not actually giving her a second to even actually think, of course. Immediately actually he would go ahead and throw a kick right at her at the abdomen and truly at least knock her out from her Juggernaut drive state, leaving her completely actually defenseless and pretty much almost knocked unconscious. Issei will fall to the ground, immediately gasping for air, and this technique was truly actually strainful on his body. He can only actually do it for about like 3 seconds before it completely destroys half of his body. So Issei was on the ground completely knocked out of it here. He can barely even stand, only standing on one knee here. Look at that Verlaine, she will actually get up, and after that she will try to actually evoke her at the balance breaker again, which she would do. Issei would chuckle saying that how powerful she really is, and before actually Shin and Kiyomi could even actually intervene, immediately actually the barrier will break and there reveals Biku. He will take actually Verlaine, and Verlaine would actually envy Issei and tell him that the next time they meet, they will actually fight to the death again, so grow stronger. This is where she will leave for Biku, and pretty much everything will go back to normal. A few weeks will actually fly by before actually the trainer arc would begin. Issei would actually tell actually Riz that he will not be joining her in going to the underworld for their trading. Issei actually has training with actually Shin and Kiyomi actually in a secret place that they're going at. Riz was quite surprised by this, that Issei is not going with her, and pretty much she was quite upset, of course, because actually she wanted to spend more time with Issei during actually this trip. But Issei is a completely different person. He's not really in it for actual romance relationship at right now. He's only in it for himself just to get stronger. And with this, Riz didn't really like that. Riz would actually try to use her authority that actually Issei needs to come with her, of course. But with actually Shin and Kiyomi actually appearing, she will actually have no choice. As Shin and Kiyomi actually told actually Riz to stop acting like a brat, because actually Issei was actually the last member of actually the Yuriyuki clan, the Forgotten clan, the ancient race that actually was superior to any other race here. This really shocked Riz, that she did hear stories about that, and hearing that Issei was actually the last actually like race, this truly made her speechless here. Azazel would actually be in the room and he would hear all this and he was completely bewildered here. And to be honest, that actually explains a lot. Issei is actually unknown power. Issei is actually able to actually grow in battle so quickly here. It explains so much. So with this, Riz has no choice but just to let Issei go. This really made her actually down bad, of course, because actually pretty much she wanted actually to spend time with Issei, because actually he did actually mature during actually this actually coming actually months of when he was actually away. But Issei did say that he was not going alone, that he would like to take Gasper along with him. Gasper was actually quite shocked just actually hearing actually all this. Seeing that actually Issei wanted to take him along with his training, Issei did explain to Gaspar that with his actually unknown power, with actually some kind of training with actually Shin and Kiyomi, he could able to actually master his actually time ability, of course. And Shin is actually quite actually talented actually when it comes to actually people who are having trouble with actually their own sacred gear power. So with this, Gaspar doesn't know what to do. And pretty much actually Azazel tries to think about it, but the training that he had planned for Gaspar would be trying to actually get him out of actually his shell. But getting actually two actually powerful people to train Gaspar wasn't really of a bad idea. So he would actually kind of agree with it. So with this, Shin, Kiyomi, Issei, and Gaspar went along with actually their training, going to the Hiroyuki realm and start their training there, while Reyes actually and the rest of her barrage went to the underworld. Once actually Issei and Gaspar arrive at the Hiroyuki realm, training immediately begins here. Issei starts actually training with actually Shin, while actually Kiyomi starts actually training actually Gaspar, trying to actually control his time ability. A few actually months will actually go by, and actually Issei and actually Gaspar have gotten quite powerful. Gaspar has gotten a decent control over actually his sacred gear. We're looking at actually season actually 4 Gaspar, who's basically able to actually have totally control over his darkness and his vampire powers and his actually time ability here. While Issei, he gained a greater boost actually in power, able for him to actually use his Balance Breaker to evolve into a greater state. Then after that, his spiritual aura, and also slowly he started to actually use actually Juggernaut Drive. But of course, it does take up so much of actually his energy, and also when his energy is actually gone, it actually uses his lifespan, which Issei has to be really careful. So Issei and Gaspar have become quite powerful. But of course, Issei felt like he didn't get strong enough. He felt like he was actually out of touch with his spiritual power, that he needed actually something or someone just to push him to the next level. Sure, the Hiroyuki realm was actually big, of course, but with people who are actually like unexperienced actually using actually spiritual powers, or actually the lack of actually spiritual actually nature, he is not great at it. He doesn't feel strong enough. He doesn't feel truly connected. This is where actually Shin would actually have a great idea, but also Kiyomi. They would actually kind of actually go to Kyoto and saying that they have a friend there who might be able to help. Once they actually arrive at Kyoto, they arrive at actually the front of actually the giant mansion. A guard will actually stand in place there, as actually Kiyomi actually did say that she would like to actually speak to the leader of actually the yokai faction. This is actually where the guards will actually go and grab the leader, and out came actually Yasuka. Yasuka was truly actually taken aback, as she is actually seen actually two actually familiar faces that she haven't seen for actually 100 years, of course, Shin and Kiyomi. And with this, the three of them would actually embrace each other, of course, as since it's actually been 100 years since they actually did talk. Immediately they get down to business here. Shin and Kiyomi would explain the situation, of course, to actually Yasuka, and ask actually if she can actually train the two of them, and especially Issei, and saying that actually pretty much actually he is actually the last member of his own kind. Yasuka would look at Issei, and immediately she would actually look at Issei's soul. Immediately his soul would actually remind her of actually Issei's mother, and immediately she will obviously actually take the opportunity to train Issei, of course. He looks exactly like his own mother. With this, some time will actually pass, and Issei does actually get actually powerful using spiritual power. With Yasuka's help, who's actually a master at Senjutsu, Issei was able to actually use crazy things, able to sense spiritual energy, able to actually form actually spiritual energy as actually an attack, able to actually pretty much actually do a whole lot of things, of course, able to actually increase his own strength by using spiritual energy. There's so much things that Issei could actually do with actually his spiritual energy that was actually pretty much ridiculous. But Issei actually grew attached to actually the yokai faction. Heck, he actually wanted actually to make actually Yasuka and him allies, of course. So with this, he would actually offer actually Yasuka the key to the Hiroyuki realm. This would truly surprise actually everybody there, as pretty much the Hiroyuki realm was only meant for actually the true elites and the people with actually a massive amount of potential and power here. Issei actually giving her actually access to this was truly like a step further. This was actually completely of a new bound of actually trust that actually Issei had found in Yasuka here. Yasuka was obviously accepted here, and with this, the two of them would actually form to be allies here. And with this, the yokai faction actually kinda grew in strength. But she will also actually ask Issei if actually she can actually advise someone so they can actually help them along the way to actually make actually the Hyuryuki clan or actually the realm more stronger. Issei would accept, and with this she will actually inform Ataramatsu. Ataramatsu will hear all the information from Yasuka, what she actually just said of course, and she will actually go down to Kyoto to see it for herself. This is where Issei will see actually Ataramatsu for the very first time, and seeing a goddess right in front of him, he will absolutely show respect. And with this, the two of them will actually talk down to business about forming allies here. And with this, Ataramatsu will obviously accept. I mean, letting Issei actually let them have access to the Hyuryuki realm, they can actually grow in strength. I mean, the Shinto and the Yokais are not really the strongest faction, but with actually this, they will actually become more powerful here. Ataramatsu would actually train Issei with also actually Tsukuyomi and also Susanoo. So Issei gets trained by actually just trade gods, and he grew massively powerful during actually this time, even learning some divine technique. We will move forward in time, and we finally actually get to actually the peace treaty arc with the North faction. Once Issei actually arrives there in the North place, he is completely just like looked upon by every single person. Everyone is just looking at Issei in just actually just awe, and some of the girls that looks at him with lust. And pretty much Issei has changed during actually this time skip. Basically, Issei's hair grew out super long, and his actually facial actually like appearance actually did change. Issei looks like Zhongli from Genshin Impact, but it wasn't just Issei. Yasuka did change a lot, and it's not really that much of a big change, but he's way more actually like manly, or pretty much he doesn't wear actually somewhat of a girl's outfit here, and pretty much he's out of his shell. He gained actually confidence in himself because actually Issei and the rest of actually his friends had actually encouraged him to become strong, and he's able to actually not actually hide in a box or even wear a paper bag. Yeah, sure, he's shy time to time, but pretty much he's not actually that kind of shy where he hides in a box, just in a box. So heck, when Issei actually sees Rias and the rest, they are completely stunned by Issei's appearance here. Pretty much actually just the sight of him almost actually made them faint, and pretty much just wanted actually them to take Issei right then and there. So with this, some actually time will pass, everything will play similar in actually the anime here. Issei will actually meet Reivo, and she will actually give Issei actually the Phoenix Potion of course, and with this actually he will see Konoko actually running out of the room. Issei would actually chase Konoko, and pretty much he would actually see actually Konoko meeting with Kuroka here. Now Riz would follow him still in the anime, and pretty much actually the two of them would actually have their duel here. But in this actually timeline, Issei is quite more powerful here, that the poison doesn't really have an effect on him. Neither that it actually did in the canon event of course, but just Issei doesn't actually really feel the effects proper this time. So the battle will commence, and Issei easily takes out Kuroka. Not even using his balance breaker or his skill made, just his mere actually power alone, he's able to blitz Kuroka and completely actually KO her right then and there. It wasn't even a fight. No, Issei was basically humiliating Kuroka there. Kuroka used every type of senjutsu that she knew, and completely it came short. Issei was just way too actually advanced than her. Trained by gods and even actually a yokai actually leader, Issei is way above Kuroka when it comes to senjutsu here. So completely Issei actually kidnaps, not really kidnaps, but captures Kuroka and actually have her imprisoned in actually the devil actually establishment. But Issei did tell them to not harm her or to not kill her. He's gonna be the one to interrogate her. So with actually Kuroka now kidnapped, how would the story actually go? Well, basically, normally we should actually jump into actually the Loki arc, but I'm gonna be changing it up. In the manga, we basically have the matchup between actually Rias and Sona, so that's where we're gonna be actually going along the story. The fight between Rias and Sona would actually be a little bit different in the manga. If you guys have not already caught up with the manga, I suggest you guys have. The matchup between Rias and Grimmery will be original the same here, but Issei is here and he's quite more powerful. And with this, Issei completely dogs water actually Sona's parade. And I'm not saying right there that he actually goes easy, no. Issei completely makes a humiliation out of all of them here. And no matter what they did, even with actually Tsubaki with her mere allies, even actually Sergeant with his new advanced sacred gear that he got from Azazel, it stood no chance against Issei here. Issei would actually just use his regular power on a daily here, and pretty much he would absolutely dog water each and every single one of them. No matter what attack they did, Issei would actually use the power that he stole from Valane, and it completely absorbs them, which Issei has actually now perfected their technique of divine dividing here. Now, no matter what they actually did, no matter how much they teamed up against them, they couldn't get through Issei's defensive. Issei uses the air to form of a wind barrier for them not to cross here. And this was no ordinary wind barrier here. This was a truly wind barrier that sucks up the air around them and pretty much uses to Issei's advantage here. So Issei has completely air manipulation of the whole entire environment. And Issei wasn't even just done there. He even created his own separate dimension here, which pretty much he took them all in, which he now became God in that his own dimension, and he completely one-shots them by raining down hot lava rocks that came from the sky, completely demolishing them right then and there. And since Issei didn't really break any rules of destroying the dimension where they were supposed to fight, Issei basically just won. And with this, Reyes Parage wins, and with the help of Gasper, which he did help a lot by stopping time and even slowing down time, he gained knowledge in the Devil Society, of course. He's even quite stronger than even Reyes here. So with that all said and done, we finally time skip to the Loki arc. But here's the thing with the Loki arc. The Loki arc is completely different here. With Issei being a complete powerhouse and having totally control over his sacred gear and access to Senjutsu, there's nothing that Issei could do. So when Loki shows up and stuff to challenge Odin and seal the way to a different dimension, Team DXD or Team Reyes and Sona will be sent there to deal with him. But this time with Gasper, of course. Now since Kuroka is kidnapped, there will be no kidnapping of Fenrir here. Team Valane did try to save Kuroka, but they would end up short because pretty much they couldn't save her because she was heavily guarded. So heck, they had to leave her for now, but they will try another time to get her back. But with the battle with Issei and Loki, and with the help of Ross Wise, Loki was absolutely being dog water on by Team Reyes and Sona here. Issei will take on Loki, and he will make him like a toddler, playing with a toddler. No matter what Loki threw at Issei will just absorb the attack and throw it back at him. And every time Issei shoots his attack, he will just use the power of Albion and use reflection to double his strength even quite more. Using the power of even Drake, he will form two energy beam of white and red to form a true heavily dragon destruction sphere. This would completely engulf Loki and keep him trapped in that barrier where he cannot even move here. No matter how much he even tries, no matter how much he uses his magic, he cannot break out of this heavy domain barrier here. With this, Odin's hammer, Thor's hammer would show up, and Issei would immediately swing that bad baby using that black Air Force energy and seal Loki away for good. So Loki doesn't really curse Issei here, or Reyes, because there's no need here, because Issei will just break the curse out, and pretty much Fenrir doesn't get kidnapped by Team Volley. So yeah, so that's another thing. Issei kinda tames Fenrir, and that his two pups, Honey and Scowl. So Issei gains two or three familiar for himself. Odin didn't really mind because Issei is quite of a powerful person, and he kind of trusts Issei with Fenrir and Skarni and Howl. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The Loki arc is just dealt with quite quickly here. So Issei does use the Phoenix Tear to heal himself, or he doesn't get himself bitten. But this does change some things. Well, now after that battle, pretty much Konoko and Akino, they kinda, how should I say, they don't really get to show their true self, accept themselves inside that battle here. Cause remember, since Issei didn't come to them, to the underworld, their thoughts and their opinions completely changes here. Issei did tell Konoko that he would protect her. And actually with this, seeing that actually Issei only focused on Loki, and after that Konoko doesn't have that talk with Issei, she doesn't really accept herself in this. But don't worry, things are about to get interesting in the next part. With Loki already at the field, Issei actually goes to Kuroka's actually cell. This is where Issei would actually interrogate at the Kuroka, why did she kill her master, and why was she after Konoko here. Kuroka never said anything to Issei, but Issei has his own way of actually making people talk. Issei will actually place his hands on actually Kuroka's head, and this is where he will gain access of all of actually Kuroka's memories, and seeing actually the truth why she went rogue. This would truly shock Issei, and Issei would say that she's not a bad person. She did all this just to protect her sister. Kuroka was quite surprised by Issei's ability that he's able to actually enter people's memory at will here, and without actually their even knowledge. So with this, Issei would actually kind of like teleport to Konoko and grab her, and even transfer actually the memories of Kuroka to Konoko. Konoko will be completely shocked by this, and even asking her if all that was true. Kuroka would actually admit that she did all that just to protect her, because actually pretty much she is her little sister. This would actually change the bond between them two, and with this, Konoko would apologize for all the neglecting things that she did to actually Kuroka and ask for forgiveness. This is actually where Kuroka would actually forgive Konoko, and the two sisterly would actually unite once and for all. This is where Issei would tell Surzex this, and Surzex would actually let Kuroka live, and not actually, she would not be hunted down by stray devils, or even after that, even the devils. She was actually free to do whatever she wants. This is actually where she will return to actually the Chaos Brigade, but this is where Issei had other plans himself. He wanted to actually find Valene and her team, and asking her why did she join the Chaos Brigade. With her powers, she could do whatever she wants. Why would she want to join the Chaos Brigade? What reason? It took some time, but actually Issei did manage to actually find where actually Valene and actually her group was actually hiding here. This is actually where Issei would actually appear right next to actually Valene. She will get quite a surprise and tries to attack Issei, but Issei completely stops her attack with one finger. Valene was actually quite surprised to see Issei and asks him what he was doing here. Issei actually asks actually Valene and her team why did she actually join the Chaos Brigade. There must be a reason why she would join the actually organization trying to take over every single faction, of course. Why is that, of course? This is where she will kind of get somewhat of actually a glimpse in her past, where actually her grandfather and actually her father will actually beat actually her mother to death, leaving actually her all alone, and even leaving her siblings there. This is actually where she will actually kind of clutch her fist, and she only says she's in it for revenge. That pretty much her mother was killed, and pretty much actually she just wants revenge. That's the reason why she joined the Chaos Brigade, just to get close actually to actually her grandfather and to try and kill him. Issei will be quite surprised hearing this, of course, but still he will actually kind of actually offer just to help actually Valene in this actually assault. Actually, he will actually ask if he can join the Chaos Brigade as a spy, because he pretty much actually knows that Valene is a spy for Azazel here. After that, he actually did actually get access to her memories, so he does know that Valene is actually a double spy, so she's pretty much actually giving information to Azazel about the Chaos Brigade. So with this, she will obviously invite Issei to the crew, and Issei becomes a member of the Chaos Brigade here. So with this, Issei would actually join the Chaos Brigade, and he will gain information really quickly, super quick. He will have information about Deodora, of course, that he's actually planning on actually kidnapping Arthur, and so Issei didn't want that, so he just kills Deodora before actually that match even begins. So yeah, I'm being serious here, this is a cold-hearted Issei who gets the job done completely. He will actually release information back to Surzex and Azazel about all this, about the Chaos Brigade's plans. Issei is dead, he's doing this so quickly here. Now the Chaos Brigade is hearing about actually this Red Dragon Emperor, that he's actually causing a big problem actually in their organization. So heck, they actually need to move their plan quickly. So with this, the hero faction will actually go ahead and actually make their move to Yokai, of course, and pretty much actually trying to take out the leader of the Yokai. But this is where they will actually fail. You see, since actually the Yokai has become more powerful over actually this coming month, this is where Yasuka will not actually get actually kidnapped or even be under mind control here. She will absolutely actually dog water the hero faction here. Even actually Sao with his actually new sacred gear and with the power of Orpheus, they will stand no chance. Completely, they will be dog watered on. Completely, they will be not really kidnapped, but they will be taken alive as prisoners here. As pretty much actually that really leads the end to the hero faction, since nobody can actually free them or even stop them. Since actually they're now just like prisoners for the yokais, and they are sent to this high secure prison where they cannot even escape. So this really leaves the hero faction to be completely actually at a loss. But the people who didn't really join the hero faction was actually Liafei and after that Otter, because actually pretty much they were with Volley's actually team, so they actually do get to live. With this actually we will have actually the Cyro Orcs actually game, and pretty much actually everything will go similar in the anime. Issei will actually meet Cyro Org, and pretty much Cyro Org will challenge Issei to a battle. Issei is quite powerful in this, so pretty much actually he will absolutely dog water, like again, Cyro Org. Since actually Issei doesn't even need to use his actually balance breaker, because Issei is already on the level of a gold rank, gold rank. Since actually pretty much he's been training by gods, Issei is already a gold ranking actually person of his Hideyuki clan race. So he's able to take on actually people like heavily class dragons. So Issei is on the level of a heavily class dragon right now. So with this, Cyro Org stands no chance here. So with this coming actually few actually months, Cyro Org would train to actually become more powerful, to surpass Issei. And Issei would also still train, but not to actually surpass or even to defeat Cyro Org, is just for actually the future match with the Chaos Brigade that actually might take place. So with this, the fight between Reyes and Cyro Org's Parade would actually happen, and pretty much Reyes will still end up winning here. With Issei completely dog watering actually Cyro Org's Parade, they stood no chance. Even with Cyro Org with his actually newfound power, even his golden armor, Issei actually completely only just uses his actually balance breaker, which he just one-shot Cyro Org to completely defeat. So Issei just gave him a humiliating defeat, but he did say he has potential to grow to be the next Lucifer. So with this, we basically put an end to actually the Cyro Org bit, and you guys are probably wondering, wait, you just skipped the Kyoto arc, what happened? Like I said, the hero faction are not even a big threat. Yasuka already taken care of them since she's way more powerful in this. She's easily able to take on actually the Chaos Brigade, and not really the whole Chaos Brigade, but just the hero faction of course with just her power alone. So with this, there's not really much to talk about that. With this, Issei would actually move off to actually like what, middle class devil, but Issei doesn't really care about that. Issei is mostly with actually the Shinto actually faction and the Yokai faction, see that he has a better and close connection to them. Now, Issei actually does have a connection to actually the devil faction, but he's mostly with the Shinto. So with this, he's mostly aligned with the Shinto. He only follows their orders. Yeah, sure, he follows Reyes' orders, but mostly the Shintos, of course. So with this, you guys are also probably wondering about the relationship with Issei and Reyes. Does Issei hate Reyes? No, not at all. Issei truly actually loves Reyes, and remember, he's not even a pervert. Issei is completely just a perverted freak. He does wish to have a harem, but pretty much he's not thinking about that now. He's only thinking about actually dealing with the Chaos Brigade. So yeah. So of course, actually, you guys are probably actually want to know actually the ranking, of course. Well, let me tell you this. Reyes is actually kind of like 4th place. Well, actually, Yuki is 1st place, Yasuka is 2nd, Asamatsu is actually like 3rd, and the list goes on. The harem actually rank still stays the same, but Reyes is just 4th, Akano is just at the bottom here. So, yep, I'm just saying this, guys. Yeah, Issei completely just has a larger harem now. Now, if you guys are probably actually just wondering what happens next, well, we're gonna go off a little bit of the light novel here. I'm not gonna explain everything in this actually, like what if. I'm gonna actually skip forward some of the light novel bits that I do not see as important, so yes. With actually the defeat of actually the Chaos Brigade, Rise of Beam starts to actually move his plan forward here. So pretty much actually he tells actually Hades to actually create the Super Devils, and that he actually does, of course. The Super Devils are actually created, and pretty much they start to wreak havoc in the underworld. But with Issei actually help, and after that with his actually teams and friends, they actually are completely defeated. And after that, with the help of actually Sir Zex and Issei, he completely kills actually Hades here. So Hades is absolutely dead. And this doesn't really start a conflict with actually the Greek faction here, because pretty much Hades was a traitor, and heck, they found out actually his plan of actually taking over Olympia, or I can't actually pronounce the name, basically Greek, and trying to actually become actually the true god, to overthrow Zeus. So pretty much actually he kind of thanks the Red Dragon Emperor for taking care of Hades, even though they could have actually sealed him away. Killing him is also another thing that they could have done, so yeah, but they do thank him that Hades is actually now dead. They're trying to look for a new replacement, of course. He's gonna be the new god of death here. They're actually thoughts of Issei becoming the god of death, but Issei kind of refuses, of course, because he doesn't want to have that huge responsibility here. With this, Zeus will completely understand that he will try to find someone to do the job. For right now, he's gonna have to take over for right now. With this, we basically also have a time skip to where Orpheus will get curious of Issei's power, and heck, she will actually start living with Issei. And she will actually start to monitor actually his every move, and seeing that his potential to grow was absolutely astonishing here. Soon time will actually pass, and pretty much actually Shelba would actually try to kidnap Orpheus. And with this, Issei would actually go after Orpheus to try and save her. The battle will actually commence with actually Shelba and Issei, and completely Issei gets hit by actually Shelba's actually poison arrow, Samuel's poison. But the thing is, this doesn't really kill Issei. This actually kind of weakens his power. This really actually just weakens him to where actually half of his power is just gone, but not killing him. Issei is quite durable, and after that he doesn't really actually feel the pain, but the poison is still killing at him. So with this, Issei with his new move would use Long Giant Smasher and completely incinerate actually Shelba for good. This is actually where he would collapse on the floor, and pretty much he would start coughing out blood. Even though this is not enough to kill him, Issei is feeling weakened. His life force is leaving him. Half of his life force is just gone, and Orpheus feels quite shocked. He just took an arrow just for her. Why? Nobody has ever done that before. So, out of sheer kindness that actually Orpheus thought that she never had, she will actually teleport Issei to the dimensional gap with Great Red in there. So this is actually where Orpheus would have convinced Great Red to create Issei of a new body. This is where Great Red would create Issei a new body with actually the help of Orpheus, and of course the birth of actually the new dragon god would be born. This is completely the true heavenly dragon god of annihilation here. Issei Hyodo is actually born, and I'm not actually talking about actually this is the regular Issei Hyodo. This Issei Hyodo is completely on a whole different level here. Do you know how actually I talked about ranks in actually the Hideyuki clan? There's actually bronze rank, silver, gold. Well, Issei was actually on gold, and I did talk about actually the strongest rank with his spiritual god. Well, guess who ascended to that level? Yep, Issei has ascended to the level of a spiritual god. With his newfound powers, Issei can do a whole lot of things. Create dimensions at his will, able to actually travel through time, able to actually make concept. Issei is able to do as much as he wants. Issei has finally reached the peak of godhood. Nobody has ever done this before. There was only one, but pretty much that was a legend. But Issei has proven that legend is true. Issei has now ascended to the realm of the gods, of the true gods, of course. Once after Issei finally actually returns, the Chaos Brigade are immediately destroyed here by Issei's newfound power. Issei doesn't waste any time, he hunts them down one by one and completely destroys them. And this puts an end to the Chaos Brigade. Now you guys are probably wondering, what about Trexia? Well, let's talk about this. If even the Chaos Brigade did manage to actually revive Trexia, Trexia stands no chance against Issei. Issei's power is on a whole different level. Nobody can rival Issei unless they are on his level of power, which I doubt nobody is on. So with this, Trexia will be easily sealed away in the Shadow Realm which Issei created, a dimension where only he can actually decide whether he lives or dies. But he chooses to seal actually Trexia there, of course, because actually pretty much that's the best thing he can actually do. So with this, the whole actually story just plays just normal. The Chaos Brigade are defeated, Issei just lives his regular life, settles down, and pretty much everything goes back to normal, and this puts an end to absolutely the series of what if Issei was from a forgotten clan. If you guys actually enjoyed this, please actually smash the like can't talk today, button and subscribe, and you guys may be seeing right there a new what if quite soon, of course, as I'm showing it right now, as I'm making this what if right now. What if Issei was isekai to another world, or what if Naruto traveled to a different world here? So this is a what if I will be making, so if you guys actually like to see the series, please actually leave a comment, like, and share this video to your friends and family. I'm trying to finish some of my old what if. As you guys actually seen, actually what if Issei was Satoru Gojo, what if Zuko was in a zombie outbreak. Well, pretty much actually guys, I will be not working on actually what if Issei was in a, what if Issei was Satoru Gojo, because actually pretty much I'm trying not to get some of my old what if done, so I won't really have time to work on that. And yes, I might be working on actually what if Issei was Frost, but I'll try to actually make it as quick as possible here, because I want to work on some of my new what if. So thank you guys all for watching. Leave a comment, share this video to your friends and family. I'm Ultra Anime, and I'm logging out. Peace.